Good afternoon, readers and viewers of ADC News. This afternoon we are talking to the curator of the Natural History Museum of the Seychelles. The Seychelles has several museums. One of them is a history museum, and this one is the Natural History Museum. That has to do with different areas of expertise. Why don't you introduce yourself, please, to my readers and viewers and tell them what exactly is the function of this particular museum?
I'm Bertilde Belle, the Natural History Museum Curator of Seychelles. And the Natural History Museum was officially opened in 1998, and its aim is to preserve and protect the biodiversity of Seychelles for the future generation. And our main objective is to promote awareness through the exhibition, quality exhibition, and outreach programs. We do activities with children. We have activities basically every Saturday, every month. And
outreach, or you bring children in here?
We bring children in here, and we also have outdoor activities. We do it during school vacation, and also we have school visits that children that comes in from various schools and institutions. Also, we do temporary exhibition, and through this exhibition, we promote the fauna and flora of Seychelles.
Not only current, but as we can see in the background here, there is a dinosaur, also past. And I will show my viewers also the type of rocks you have. Those are, of course, rocks which are ancient, which have been excavated, I suppose, from somewhere. And here we have a complete display, again, of rocks and rock fragments. And when we go further up on the display, it even says the formation of oil and the exploration of oil in the next one. And up on the ceiling again, dinosaurs. I suppose that refers back to the ancient continent of which the Seychelles were part and which has disappeared into the ocean. So you are bringing this type of natural history to the children, in particular the school, that they gain a better understanding of what the geological foundation of these islands was. Granite rock islands, the inner islands, and then a lot of coral islands on the outer islands. You mentioned exhibitions. Do you have any such special exhibitions coming up anytime soon?
Yes, in November we have an exhibition on an amphibian, which is a Sicilian of Seychelles. In 2012 till 2015, there was a project which was the EDGE project, was funded by the Darwin Initiative in England. So they were to find out about the different species. There were 12 species that were selected in Seychelles, and out of them there was the Sicilian. And in Seychelles, we used to have 6 species of Sicilian. They are endemic to the Seychelles. But during the project, the 7th species was discovered, and it has already been named. And through this exhibition, we'll focus on the 6th and introduce also the 7 endemic species of Sicilian.
What level of attention do you generate through such activities from international scientists and researchers? This sounds very exciting.
Yes.
Of course, a lot of people have no ears and no eyes for this sort of history, but it's hugely important to understand the origins of our planet, and
Yes.
you know, the finding of a new species, the naming of a new species. This is all very exciting stuff for researchers and scientists. And what level of support and interest did you have from overseas, from the UK, Darwin you mentioned, the
Yes.
Darwin Institute, from the United States, from Europe, from elsewhere?
Actually, the species was discovered by Dr. David Gower and Simon Maddock from the Natural History Museum. They are the researchers, they are the person that were doing the research on the Sicilian. And we've got a lot of people who are interested since we've tell the news about the new species, and they are so interested to learn more about it.
Now, you mentioned you are bringing children in here. Do you also have outreach programs which take you and your staff and maybe some exhibits into the schools as part of the national education program, as part of the national curriculum?
Actually, we do presentation in schools. We started it this year. We go out to the schools, we bring some exhibit out, we talk about the Natural History Museum, and we encourage those people to come in the museum. Also, we work with our partners, like we have the National Park, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Education. We go out and do activities with some of those partners, and we bring children to them too.
Okay. Talking of the Seychelles National Park Authority, I spoke to Mr. Schubert earlier today, and we discussed the challenges and the opportunities his organization has, and we were talking about outlying areas like Aldabra. Aldabra is only occupied by researchers. Of course, it's managed by a different entity because it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's done in conjunction with the Vallée des Mailles in Bralin. But when findings are coming in from Aldabra, when the scientists make discoveries, some time ago I believe it was a particular kind of beetle which suddenly made a reappearance after it was thought to be extinct. To what level is your museum involved in then getting such finds and being able to put it on display for a wider audience?
Actually, we get the reports that they send. They send reports like they have bulletins. So we put it in our documentation center.
Yes.
And if people comes, like the researchers, school children who wants to research on certain topics, we are always available to show them the bulletins or the reports that we've been given. Or otherwise, if we have a little limited information,
Yep.
we just send them over to the SIF
Okay.
and tell them to talk to certain people, and they will get the information.
Now, last time we met, which was I think in April last year, and talked about this particular museum, which has caught my attention, which continues to have my attention. We talked about the level of exposure and visibility you can create beyond just your exhibit rooms. Exhibit rooms are very crowded. You have a lot of exhibits in storage because you are so limited with space. Have you been able to put all those items on, for instance, a web page that people from overseas, when they Google Seychelles, when they look up Seychelles, that they can actually find a drop-down menu to the various museums, including to the Natural History Museum. And when they are on your site, they can then find out what exhibits you have and get better information that way. So how far are you gone with your website?
Actually, it's still being, we're still working on it. But we do have a Facebook page that we post the activities that we are doing, the exhibition, everything that we work with our partners. It's being posted on our.
So on Facebook, you're visible there, you have a page,
Yes.
but you are still working on your
the
actual website, which of course would then be much more scientific in the layout and much more detailed in the descriptions and the analysis and explanations, probably having a target group amongst researchers and scientists rather than the young uppy generation of Facebookers.
Yes. We are still doing it. We are still working on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, last year you told me that you were planning to do an exhibition about the amazing number of sharks found in the waters around the Seychelles. Of course, the Seychelles has probably one of the largest ocean areas in the world, because your 200-mile economic exclusion zone around all the islands, some islands closer to Madagascar than they are actually to Mahé, gives you a huge area of control over ocean waters. Yes?
So we were given 24 sharks.
Yes.
18 species from the GIF, the Green Island Foundation, and the shark were put on display. I know if you, after the interview...
Yes, we can probably go around and show our viewers that you do have several of these species on display.
Shark, yes, and they've been here for about 1.5 years.
Yes.
And we are thinking of, because of the limited of space, we are thinking of removing some, but it's in the way forward. We have to discuss with the GIF, since they are the ones that donated the sharks, because we have other exhibits that we want to put on.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is actually one of the big challenges you have. This, once upon a time, was a perfect location near the clock tower. Today, it is one of the main traffic arteries. You know, getting here is still as easy, but not as fast. And the premises have remained the same, while the number of your exhibits has grown tremendously from what I understood last year. So, is it not sad that you will have to remove some of the sharks? Sharks, people would otherwise never know they exist, because there is such an amazing variety of them, and make space for other exhibits. What plans are there to create a new home for the Natural History Museum of the Seychelles? Because I gather there are plans for the for other museums to find a new home. Where are you in securing larger exhibition spaces which allow you to actually grow into and to put all these exhibits which you have in storage right now, you know, right into the view of your visitors? Because after all, it will also draw in more visitors, more exhibits, more visitors, more income, because I believe you do charge a nominal fee when people come in here, when tourists come in here, but tourists will only come in here when they actually have something interesting to see, and the sharks is something.
But even if we do have repetitive visitors who love to come and see if we have changed the exhibits.
Yes.
But to talk about the space, about a new home, because we are a government entity,
yes,
we fall under the government, they are trying to look for a new location for the museum. So we'll remain here
until
we find a new location.
It's a Ministry of Youth.
It's the Ministry of Youth,
Sports and Culture. This is Honorable Mitzi LaRue. Yes.
And we fall under the Department of Culture.
Yes.
So until they find a new place, so we'll remain in the...
Has there been any indication that you may be next in line once a new court building across the road has been completed and your colleagues are moving in there? Will you be next in line for relocation?
Yes, we might be.
But you wouldn't have a time frame at this time?
No.
Okay. If you could wave a magic wand, what exhibition space would you look for in terms of rooms or in terms of square meters? because only you know what you have in storage, what you really want to display.
Actually,
How much space do you need?
we want a bigger museum.
Yes.
Because we have collection that we have not worked on. We've got birds. We have because the museum has 3 sections.
Yes.
We have the terrestrial, we have marine section, then we have the geological section. And from the side of the terrestrial, we have a lot of exhibit.
Yes.
We have a lot of components that we want to put a new display, to rearrange the museum with new specimens,
Yes.
new sections and other stuff. And we want a bigger museum that we can show everything that we have in
A
Seychelles.
modern
Yes,
museum.
because we have, here in Seychelles, we have an extraordinary biodiversity.
Yes.
We have a
Your
lot-
hotspot.
Yes, we have a lot of endemic species that even us, we did not know that it existed. But having a new museum with a lot of space, it will be able to show what we have, so that the people can come and appreciate the Seychelles.
How many tourists are actually coming in here in terms of having a visit to your museum packaged as part of a tour of the city of Victoria?
Actually, we get individual tourists that comes in.
They come on their own,
They come on their
but not that Creole Travel or
No,
Manson
no.
Travel would include it in their package, saying a
Rare.
visit to the city of Victoria will include a 2-hour guided tour through your museum.
Rarely we get some visitors from the Mason's Travel.
Yeah.
It takes them about 15 to 10 minutes
Yeah,
because they have a very tight schedule.
yes.
But we have more individual visitors that comes and visit the museum. And we also have a partnership with Les Merisiers Fishermen's Cove.
Yes.
That they come with a ticket. One of them pay and the other one gets the visit free.
Okay.
This is
So that's a couple's incentive.
yes. We sign an MOU with the Fishermen's
Okay. You have plans with any other of the hotels? I mean, there are a good number of
We
them.
wish we could have.
Yes.
But it depends on the hotel if they are interesting to do.
Well, maybe I can help you to gain some greater visibility, and that the people, even on the islands here, who read my blog articles, may take some inspiration or may take some, proverbial kick in the back, in the nicest possible terms, that they wake up to the existence of your museum and saying, hey, this is actually worth to send some people there when you are in town, that you say the material we give our tourists at the reception through the concierge will always include a recommendation to visit your museum.
But on a very good note is that the visitors, the number of visitors has rise.
Yeah?
It has risen from last year. We have received more than 5,000 visitors. Because when we sell the tickets, we do
Yes.
our statistics.
Yes.
And for school children, it's the same. Last year we received for 1,460.
Yes.
And this year till now we have 1,565.
Yes.
So every year we have a little bit of visitors, more visitors that comes.
So the more visitors come to the Seychelles, the more visitors actually from within them visit your
Museum, yes.
museum. Right. We were talking about the sharks. Would you mind showing my viewers
Okay.
a little bit about the sharks, and we just walk around the corner, and I'm going to just follow you with a camera, and you can actually show
The sharks.
what shark section you have put up. There are some already here.
Yes, we have some sharks.
All
here.
right. And how many species do you have on display right now?
It's supposed to have 18.
18 species.
Yes, and we have 24 sharks.
24 sharks in the waters around the Seychelles?
No, in the
In the entire museum?
no, in this display here.
Yeah.
Yes, we have 24 sharks.
Okay.
Yes.
This is quite a number. People normally talk of you know, just a few types of sharks.
Okay.
And now I think everyone will be quite amazed to actually see and no, my dear viewers, they are not alive. They are not going to jump out and bite me or anyone else.
And with this shark exhibition, there was some outreach program that we did
Yes.
to educate the people, to prove the awareness that sharks are not dangerous.
Yes.
They are dangerous. They attack you if they feel threatened, but otherwise they are.
Or of course the big whites if they are hungry. Yes. Now the Seychelles is one of the richest fishing grounds in the world because of these huge expanses of Indian Ocean waters, right? And of course this is a very fertile ground for sharks because they are predator fish and they feed on these large concentrations of fish you find in the Seychelles waters. And then we have two more right at the back. We're just going toward that. Seeing? Yes. Right. Big shells, of course.
Yes, it's
That's
a
also
big, it's a giant clam from
yes.
Aldabra.
Yes, from Aldabra.
Yes.
This famous marine garden of Eden, isn't it? So, should we go back and conclude our interview?
Yes.
Just showing my viewers, you know, what else is up there. Stingrays and different rays and different ocean fish, and of course here on display those very famous, what are they?
These are the sea turtles.
Sea turtles.
Yes, the bigger
And-
one is the green turtles, and the one down here are the hawksbill turtles.
Yes. And Aldabra has a population of sea turtles of a multiple of what people know are in the Galapagos Islands. So they always think the Galapagos Islands are the ones with the most, but it's actually Aldabra which has the highest population.
Actually, these are the sea ones.
Yep.
The ones that are on Aldabra are the
Land ones?
Yes, the land tortoise. We have it here.
Okay, let's go and have a look at that.
We have the giant tortoises here,
Right.
and they come from Aldabra.
They've been brought all the way from there.
Yes.
Right. And they're very famous animals, and a lot of the resorts and hotels and even restaurants have them in their gardens.
Yes.
And they become very old. Some of the oldest living species on the planet,
We
actually.
have one which is called Esmeralda, and even if it's called Esmeralda, female name, it's more than 150 years.
150 years old, and here
More
you
than
can
that,
see
yes.
the Aldabra tortoise population. In 2012, over 100,000, but in 1974 it was 129,000. So we are going to look at the future, and of course rising sea levels
Yes.
will not help to keep these populations up. Rising sea levels is a huge threat, in particular to the Aldabra atoll, which is very low-lying. So time will tell how the population of these famous tortoise populations will do. Well, I can only say thank you very much for your time, for this little tour of your shark exhibition and of the tortoises and of the sea turtles. And I do hope that more interest is generated amongst my readers and viewers, that whoever comes to the Seychelles, whoever comes to Mahé, whoever comes to Victoria, will make a point to actually come and pay a visit to your museum. And fingers crossed that your Christmas wish to Santa Claus will be fulfilled in one of these fine years. You'll have a big box coming your way and saying, these are the keys for your new museum.
On my part and on the part of the Natural History Museum staff, I would say thank you to you, Mr. Wolfgang, for the small interview and for the trying to put the Natural History Museum a little more visible to the public and to the world.
Thank you very much for your time.